Hello, my name is Robert Bertini, and I was the chair of the TRB Committee on Traffic Flow Theory and Characteristics from 2009 to 2015. We are honored to receive the TRB 2015 Blue Ribbon Committee Award for Community Building and Mentoring. So I'd like to share with you some thoughts on those topics. This is a presentation that I delivered to the Freight and Marine Group Leadership Retreat back in January 2016. And so here we go. I'd like to start with a few caveats, of course, and as you know, there are thousands of incredible people involved with TRB, making all of TRB's activities happen. More than 200 committees are doing incredible work every day and making a true difference in the transportation field. And so I feel we were incredibly honored to receive this award, and in some ways also pretty lucky. So I also wanted to mention that TRB staff absolutely make our work easy and make us look good, and that we all should take a moment to recognize and thank the incredible TRB staff that we have. As I mentioned, our committee was incredibly humbled and fortunate to receive this award in 2015. And one of the best parts of this was getting to meet the fellow award winners, and I am in awe of them. These three individuals and their incredible committees really just blew me out of the water. Katie Zimmerman and the Transportation Asset Management Committee, Eugene Russell and the Roundabouts Committee, and Beverly Kuhn and the Active Traffic Management Joint Subcommittee. They all are doing incredible things, and I encourage you to hunt them down and pick their brains about the wonderful work that they're doing also. I also want to mention that we're not giving this presentation to brag about the award, but simply to try to document some of our experiences, some of our lessons learned, and to share some of the things that have worked for us and that might work for you. Of course, we know that all of these elements are not going to be relevant or transferable for everyone, so please remember that we're all simply volunteers trying to do our best and take these thoughts for what they're worth. Just a little profile about the Traffic Flow Theory Committee. It was founded in 1963. We celebrated our 50th anniversary a few years ago. We're one of the papers that generates one of the largest numbers of papers every year. And back in 2009, when I was appointed the chair, we certainly had a strong and solid track record of presentations and publications over 50 years with a very strong academic representation. This committee also had and still has a great international representation on the committee, a great international audience and set of volunteers. The committee has produced several monographs on traffic flow theory. Back in 2009, most of our activities were at the January annual meeting. There was always a strong connection to the FHWA with few connections to state and local transportation agencies. We also had not done much in terms of producing research problem statements. And back in 2008, we did begin a tradition of mid-year summer meetings, which I'll talk more about in a minute. Looking back at the chairs of this committee, we try to pay homage to our forebears and to the previous chairs of the committee, many luminaries in the transportation and traffic theory field. One of the things that has been a tradition all along is for the committee to embrace students. And in fact, the four most recent chairs, going back in addition to myself, but Professor Nathan Gartner and Hani Mamasani, all of us became connected to this committee when we were students. And we were embraced by the chairs and the members, and we were encouraged and mentored. And then through the years, we all moved up the ranks through volunteer paper reviews and ultimately becoming chairs of the committee. So that's something that we believe strongly in, and that we mentioned in our award nomination about the strong mentorship of new members. This is just a snapshot. What was the committee doing back in 1963 at the annual meeting of the Highway Research Board? There were 5 papers presented and published in the Highway Research Record, so we've come a long way since 1963. During the intervening years there, we produced these 3 monographs. The number of papers coming into TRB overall and into our committee in particular has grown a lot. And since 2009, we were just under 100 papers being submitted. Now we're up to about 200 papers every year, which is an incredible amount of growth. This is a snapshot of our committee's activities at the 2015 annual meeting. We had 98 papers presented, 30 of those were published. As you can see, we had 6 lectern sessions, 3 poster sessions. We were involved with 3 workshops and a number of other subcommittee meetings throughout the annual meeting. So it's quite a busy time, and it's hard to do anything else if you attend all these particular activities during the annual meeting. During the years that I was chair, as I was reflecting back, probably the main sense of accomplishment that I had were the 189 transportation research record papers that we published, as shown in the image here. We also had a busy January, as most committees do, with committee meetings, lectern sessions, poster sessions, and we did have a birthday cake to celebrate our committee's 50th anniversary. We had several wonderful summer meetings, including one that I organized in Portland, 3 transportation research circulars that we published. We also went through 2 strategic planning cycles, and we also rotated members twice. So those were quite a few of the activities during that time period. As I mentioned, we were honored to receive the 2015 Blue Ribbon Award for Community Building and Mentoring, and we were cited specifically for engaging diverse participants through innovative and inclusive outreach, and for collaboration in research, education, and training. As you know, there are 4 award categories, and the selection criteria include demonstrating innovation, results and accomplishments, and transferability. As I mentioned, and as you know, TRB is all about the people. So I already mentioned that the past 3 or 4 committee chairs really began with this committee as students with support and mentorship. So we've continued this culture and tradition of mentorship, also trying to bring young members up to speed and making them aware of the history of traffic flow theory research. And we like to pay homage to our predecessors and make sure that people appreciate the work that's been done over the decades in our field. We were one of the committees that began one of the first doctoral student workshops where doctoral students present their research at the TRB annual meeting. We worked a lot on increasing diversity of our committee by geographical diversity, gender, race, organization, and we have been very happy to add several state DOT members to the committee, as well as continuing the tradition of having an FHWA representative as a member of the committee. In the area of friends, this really exploded. We've got more than 700 members in our Google group, our email list now, and also close to 600 likes on our Facebook page. So for a field as specialized as ours, there are quite a few people paying attention to what we're doing. And we use the email list and the Facebook page and our newsletter to update people not only about what the committee is doing, but about other conferences and job openings and other activities in the traffic flow field. We really strongly encourage people who are interested in getting involved in the committee to get involved and step up to a subcommittee. And we try to explain that you can be as active as a friend with the committee or even more active than you can be as a member, and that we really encourage people to step up, and that as a key to future membership. We pay close attention to those new members or new TRB attendees who fill out the TRB new attendee survey every year, and in my years as chair, I always personally respond to all of those new attendees to try to encourage them to get involved. We also launched several awards, which I'll mention a little bit more in a minute. On the website, we have an FAQ page that explains to people, it answers questions about how you can get involved, and some of this would be transferable to other TRB committees. Sign up as a friend, volunteer to be a paper reviewer, come to our meetings, link to our Facebook page, read the newsletter, step up and volunteer for a subcommittee, and then that's a wonderful way to be noticed and to become perhaps a young member and a member when the membership rotations actually occur. So we try to keep that FAQ page up to date as additional questions come in. I mentioned subcommittees. We might have gone a little bit overboard here, but we now have 11 subcommittees, which is great. It's great to see subcommittee activities going on throughout the year and then to receive their reports at the annual meeting. There are several of the subcommittees that are content related. We oversee a joint subcommittee on traffic simulation models. They have a workshop and a meeting at every annual meeting. And we also have two relatively new subcommittees, one in the area of crowd flow dynamics, that's basically pedestrian modeling and management, and also the newest subcommittee is on traffic flow for connected and automated vehicles. The remainder of the subcommittees are more operational: the research problem statements, paper review, the awards subcommittee, a mid-year meeting subcommittee, strategic planning, as well as a subcommittee that has documented and pulled together some classic and historic critical papers that people should be aware of in our field. And then another small subcommittee that focuses on the monograph series. The subcommittee on outreach and diversity is probably one of the busiest. They've been publishing a newsletter every month since July 2013. Those are all available through the website, and I think people like to see the monthly newsletter. It's a bit of a substitute for very frequent emails, so it all gets consolidated. We try to have a little bit of fun with that also. Acknowledgement of our history and some of humorous aspects of traffic flow. Believe it or not, there are some humorous aspects. The Facebook page, as I mentioned, we try to keep up to date. The website as well. Another thing that this subcommittee has done and continues to do, monthly webinars. And so we've held more than 50 webinars since 2010. We don't usually go through the TRB webinar series. We just manage this on our own. So we might take some of the best papers from the annual meeting and have those authors present those so that they can be disseminated to a wide audience, perhaps to people who can't come to the annual meeting. We've also taken some papers that have been highly cited and asked the authors, the original authors of those papers, to bring us up to date on their research since the highly cited paper has been published. And we also finally have a YouTube channel and a Flickr page where we keep some photos from our meetings. As I mentioned, the citations, so we developed a Google Scholar page just for the transportation research records covering our committee's papers. So as you can see, since 1963, we've published about 650 papers in 68 different issues of the TRR. And those papers have been cited more than 15,000 times. So we like to try to track the impact of the papers that we publish that come out of our committee. And of course, any TRB committee could develop a Google Scholar page for their papers. It doesn't take that much effort. It takes a little bit of effort, but we're happy to explain how to do this to any committee who's interested. One tradition that we borrowed from Jane Lappin of the ITS committee is to produce every year, right before the annual meeting, a letter from the chair describing the upcoming activities of the annual meeting. That way, members and friends have a kind of a one-stop shop for all the activities that the committee is sponsoring at the annual meeting. We were very happy about our Greenshields Prize that we launched a few years ago. Greenshields was a pioneer in the traffic theory field, and most traffic engineers, transportation engineers study Greenshields in their undergraduate years. So the paper is chosen from one of the papers that's presented and published at the annual meeting. Each published paper then that has received the Greenshields Award has a small citation under it in the transportation research record. And this has become quite a nice feature of our committee. It's developed a bit of prestige, and so authors are now interested in becoming noticed and becoming recognized by the Greenshields Award, and we feel pretty good about that. And any committee could launch their own award, as we've discovered. The mid-year meetings, we decided back in 2008 to launch a mid-year meeting series, so we do those in even-numbered years. In odd-numbered years, we have a short business meeting at another conference, the ISTTT conference, that's held in odd-numbered years in different locations around the world. The even-numbered years, sometimes we join with another TRB committee. Most of them have been here in the U.S., but we had one in France, and we're planning one for this summer, 2016, in Sydney, Australia. So the mid-year meetings have been wonderful. As we look back at some of the original goals that we set out when I became chair in 2009, I would say that many of them have come to fruition. We've got an active set of subcommittees now. The committee is engaged in producing products and activities throughout the year. We're continuing the tradition of the wonderful mentoring of young members and encouraging them to become engaged with the committee. We still pay homage and considerable respect to our predecessors in our field. We launched the committee award, and we've also embraced the emerging field of connected and automated vehicles with our new subcommittee. We've also supported the launch of a new task force under the operations section focused on developing a new simulation manual. We do still need to work on the area of research problem statements, however. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And as this picture shows, the TRB is all about the people. And these are some of the members and friends of the committee photographed this past January 2016. Certainly it was a wonderful experience for me to serve as chair of this committee. Wonderful honor for all of us, and we're very grateful for having received the TRB Blue Ribbon Committee Award in 2015. And I hope this information has been useful to you. Feel free to contact me. You can check out our website at the link shown here, and you're always welcome to contact us if we can help in any way. So best wishes, and thank you again for your time.